today, class, say good morning, Mr. DeMood. Good morning, class. All right, today we're going to look at standard form. By the way, this right here is called standard form. And A, B, and C, they need to be this thing called integers. All right? Now, integers are not decimals. They can be negative or positive, numbers, just not decimals or fractions. So our first problem is this. Look at our example. Are those integers? No, you're right. They're not. These are called rational. They're fractions, rational numbers, right? Rational numbers are fractions. So ratios, right? Ratios of two integers. See, this is the ratio of -3 to 2. That's the ratio of two integers. So we have to make sure we change everything to integers. Now there's a special way to do this. We're going to take this whole equation and we're going to multiply it by the least common multiple of the denominator. That's something we learned a few weeks ago when we started school a few weeks ago. All right, so we got to find the least common multiple between a 2 and a 4. So if you forgot what least common multiple is, we're going to do multiples of 2. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. No, who do we appreciate? All right, and then we have 4, and then 8, and then 12. What's the least common multiple between 2's and 4's? 4 is correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 4 right here, this 4, and we're going to distribute this 4 to every single number. All right? So we're going to remember how to do that. That's an important process. We've done this before. Let's see how you guys do. Here we go. We have a 4. It's kind of hard to see. Got a 4 right here. We're doing 4 times a -3. What's 4 times a -3? Close. -12. -12 over 2x. Write that down. Plus 4 times 1. I heard somebody say 4. Good. And then 4 times 3 gets us all the way to a 12. Now, all I've done is, remember, all I've done is just take everything and multiply it to the what? The numbers that are in the numerator. So I took this 4 right here and I multiplied it to all those numbers that are in the numerator. The reason we did this is so now we're going to have integers, not fractions. We'll have integers. So let's reduce this. Mads, you ready? You're on YouTube. Say hello, YouTube world. You don't hear yet, so because the microphone's way over there. Okay, good. So, what's -12 divided by 2? -6x. Perfect. Plus, Blue, you got this? 2y. Good. Equals. All right, Jake. That's right, 3. Very good. So now, listen. Now my A value and my B value and my C value are now all considered to be what? Integers. So the first thing you want to do when you're changing things to standard form, the first thing you want to do is make sure everything is in the form of what? Integers. Your A, B, and C are integers. All right. Now, next thing you look at. Ready? It says A has to be greater than or equal to 0, which means you're not allowed to have what? A negative. Uh-oh. Look at our A value. What is it? Is that okay? No. So we have to change it to a positive. So here's a cool little thing you can do. You could take this whole bad mamma jamma. No, not by a 1, by a? No, not a 2. -1. We're going to multiply everything by a negative. Now, what? Hold on. We're going to multiply everything by a negative. Because whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do on the other. So everything gets balanced out. So if I multiply this negative, Michael, times this right here, and this right here, and all the way out there, what's a negative times a negative? A positive. So what are we going to be left with? A positive 6x. Well, what about it? You got a negative times a 2y. What's going to happen to that one? That's right, minus 2y. Equals -3. Now listen, does it say anything about B and C having to be positive. No. Only the what? Only the A. So you have to make sure that the A value is positive. So right now, this is positive. Then it says what? A, B, and C. What does GCF stand for? That's right, greatest common factor. The greatest common factor between this number and this number and this number is a 1. And this actually is a 1 because you can't, there's no number other than 1 that's divisible into a 6, a 2, and a 3. Now 2 goes into 6. Okay? But 2 does not go into a 3 even. And 3 goes into a 6. But 3 does not go into 2 even. So actually, guys, this is our final answer. So in your journal, I want you guys to understand your A value would be equal to a 6. Your B value is equal to a -2, and your C value would equal a -3. Now, these 3 numbers are very important because they're going to help us solve for 3 things in a linear function that sometimes students have a difficult time solving for. Okay? Here's the 3 things that they're going to help us solve. All right? The first thing we're going to talk about is something called the X intercept. Okay? The next thing we're going to talk about is what's known as the Y intercept. Okay, so the X intercept and the Y intercept, and the last thing we're going to talk about is this thing called slope. Okay? So we're going to put slope over here. Yeah, we're not going to use y equals mx, but we use standard form to help us find all 3.
So why not have it?
We're going to still do that. We're still going to use y equals mx plus b, but what if your equation is not in y equals mx plus b, but it's in standard form? We're going to learn how to use standard form. Okay? Which means the cool thing is, you don't have to change everything over to y equals mx plus b. If it's in standard form, you can do what we're about to do right now. By the way, in order to understand how to solve for the x-intercept, we have to know what the x-intercept is. Now, when you guys have a line, all right? So you have a line, okay? So I'm going to make a quick little graph of the line. Ready? You got the x-axis, you got the y-axis, and then you have this wonderful thing called the line, okay? The x-intercept is where it crosses the what? The x-axis. So right here, whatever that is, the x value is on the x-axis. The y value is always going to be 0. So above on your little chart that you made here in your journal, I want you to make sure you understand that your y value is equal to a 0. So put y is always equal to 0 above your x-intercept. Okay? Now, down here, I'm sorry, what would you ask? Yes, because you're going to have a 0, comma, whatever your y value is. So here, your x will always equal 0 for your y-intercept. Now we're about to cover something that won't make sense if we were to do notes, but it'll make sense if you're watching the video. Okay? What do we do to solve for the x-intercept? Watch what I do. I'm going to make my y value equal to 0. So let's look at our equation. Ready? I'm going to make this equal to a 0. What do you see in this equation above, right here with a 0? What do you see? No, quick. Read that. From left to right. That's right. So watch. You're going to write 6x minus 0 equals -3. Because essentially, what did we do here? We made our y value equal to a 0. So what I did here, I just covered up the y. Because I made it equal to what? 0. So that's what I want you guys to do for your x-intercept. Make your y equal to a 0. Now, we're going to go over here, and we're going to set up the equation for the y-intercept. Watch what I do. Ready? That's right. So what on over here, what I'm going to write is I'm going to write 0 minus 2y equals -3. Because what did I do with my x's this time? I made my x's equal to a 0. This is the method you can use when you have standard form. You can solve for your x-intercept and your y-intercept. So if you have 6x equals a negative 3. What's the only step that you have to do to solve for your x-intercept? Divide by 6. So we're going to divide both sides by 6, and you get x equals negative 3/6. What does that reduce to? Negative 1 over 2. So listen, your x-intercept as an ordered pair would be negative half 0. So this would be your x-intercept. See how fast that was to solve for your x-intercept? All we did was do what? Make the y equal to 0, and then did what? We solved for x. And you're done. We can do the exact same thing for our y values. Okay? What am I left with right here? I'm left with what? A negative 2y equals a negative 3. What's the only step I have to do for this guy? Close. Divide both sides by negative 2. And you get y equals 3 over 2. So what's the ordered pair for the y-intercept? But a negative divided by a negative is a, that's right. They cancel out. So all you're left with is a 0, comma, 3 halves. And what is that? That's your y-intercept. We're going to do this more than once to help you guys understand the pattern. But what did we do? Let's review real quick. All we had to do was go up to our original equation, right? Here's our original equation. And to solve for the x-intercept, what did we do? We made y equal to 0. And to solve for the y-intercept, we made x equal to 0. Can you do that every single time? Yes. That's how you can solve for your x and y-intercept. By the way, did we use a graphing calculator at all? But we found two numbers that were what? That were fractions without even using the graphing calculator to help us out.
So if we want to, we can go in and check it.
Yeah, you could check and see what we to use a graphing calculator. You have to change things to y equals 4. So let me tell you, you can use A, B, and C to get your slope, to get your y-intercept, and to get your x-intercept. That's what we're going to do next. Ready? So here we go. Here's quick formulas. Ready? To find your x-intercept, to find your y-intercept, and to find your slope using values of A, B, and C. Tell you what, you're going to want to write this down. All right. So here's your standard form: ax plus by equals c. If you want to solve for your x-intercept, all right, it's always going to equal, all right, your. See here. One second. Always going to equal your c value divided by your a value. Whatever your c value is divided by your a value will get you your x-intercept. Now let's check to see if this is right. What was our c value in our last problem? I'll write down our last equation. What do we have? We had 6x minus 2y equals negative 3. 6x minus 2y equals negative 3. So we had 6x minus 2y equals a negative 3. What was our c value? Negative 3. What was our a value? 6. And that gives us a negative 1/2. So our ordered pair was negative 1/2, 0. All right. So your x-intercept will always be your c divided by your a. Your y-intercept, everybody, will always be your c value over your b value. Okay? That's what it's always going to be. So what's our c value here? We got a what? Negative 3. What was our b value? Negative 2. And here we got 0, 3 over 2. Pretty easy, huh? As long as you have your what? A, B, and C. Last one, but not least, because we only have 40 seconds left. We've got to find our slope. Here we go. Your slope, everybody, in a linear function, if you change everything to standard form, is always going to be your negative a value divided by your b value. Now, we didn't find the slope of this, but we are going to find the slope right now. Okay? So, the slope, what was our a value? Our a value was a 6. So this negative 6 would be our negative a value. And our b value is what? Negative 2. What's negative 6 divided by negative 2? Yep. Positive 3. So our slope's 3. And that's the end of it.